Hey everybody, it's Bree here, checking in with you with Destiny Channel on YouTube. Thank you so much for your patience for all my subscribers. It's been a very tough month. The month of June was very hard as for my last post, if you didn't know, but my mother passed away. So took some time for me and making sure that I was right before I try to get back on here and preach or teach something. So thank you again for your patience. But tonight I wanted to talk about a topic. I had planned to do something that I had learned from a little message I got from my new puppy Chase, who's over here trying to eat my hands. Say hi, Chase. He's so cute. But anywho, I think God wants me to go in a different direction tonight. So when I asked him what scripture he wanted me to focus on, and I was thinking he was going to relate it to the message I was going to have about the lessons I've learned with having Chase now, my new puppy, he went to James 1 verse 2 specifically, and I said, oh, that's not the direction I was going to go in, but we're going to flow. So that's what we're doing right now. We're just flowing with James, the book of James, chapter 1, verse 2. It's a very well known scripture. It is not anything brand new. The Bible is not new, as you know, but it's something that has always been encouraging, but also something that causes people to question what exactly does that mean. And so in James 1, chapter 1, verses 2, it says, "Consider it pure joy, my brothers, whenever you face trials of many kinds, because you know the testing of your faith develops perseverance." And actually goes into verse 3 as well. But that verse 2 again says, "Consider it pure joy, my brothers, whenever you face trials of many kinds." Right there, that right there. And my question is, how do you consider something pure joy that feels more like hell? Just to be real, right? If you're going through something, or maybe you've ever been through something where the mental pressure was so strong that you're like, how in the world am I supposed to experience any joy right now? And I want to encourage you that you can do that, but it does take a lot of work. The trials that you're facing, the storms that you're facing in life are not meant to feel good, but they're meant to be overcome, and you're supposed to override them in your mind. Okay. So I want to encourage you today is that whether you're facing a storm, a trial, a testing of some sort, know that God is using that particular thing to elevate you, to test you, to so you can see yourself. God already knows what's inside of you, and he already knows who you are. But the question is, do you? Do you know, as my pastor always says, what kind of tea bag you are when you're dipped into hot water? And maybe some of the trial and testing that you're facing is your own doing. Sometimes it's like that. Sometimes you get yourself into trouble or you make a big old mess. Okay. Sometimes it's other people that try to cause problems for you in your life. And sometimes it's just a bad circumstance, and what are you supposed to do? Or maybe it's information you didn't really know about. Okay. And it could be any one of those things or something else I didn't even think of. But the point is that you can actually choose joy. Excuse me, Chase is over here having a moment. You can actually choose joy no matter what. Okay. Joy is a feeling. It is a state of mind. It is a spiritual fruit, and it is a feeling, because, there's a difference between happiness and joy. Happiness is, I would say it's a general thing, and joy is very specific, if that makes sense. You can generally, I think, be happy, but you don't generally have joy. You can, I think you should, but I think in society and the way the world goes today and how we deal with things, even as believers or even non-believers, if you're checking this out, hey, is that joy for some people is not a daily thing. It's a circumstantial thing, or it's one of those, I had to press in and really get into the joy of the Lord, which means you're trusting in him so that you can get through what you're getting through. But general happiness is kind of like when things are going okay, your circumstances are just all right, where joy is like when your circumstances are not right and you still choose to have this sense of peace and this confidence that all things are going to work together for your good. So I wanted to just share that with you so that you can have a little bit of a background and a little understanding of what joy is versus happiness. They're both really good. One is not secular, one is not biblical. They're both biblical. You're supposed to be happy and you're supposed to have joy. That's the way the Lord wants it. But he does understand that not every circumstance will allow that to happen. Therefore, it is our duty and our job to learn to trust the Lord so that we can experience his true joy, right? And there's another scripture in John, I want to say 15, and I'm going to look it up. So give me just 1 second. I'm going to pause this here. All right. Thanks for bearing with me. I'm trying to look up this scripture here without making too much noise and having Chase go all over the place over here. All right. It says in John 15, verse 7, it says, if you remain in me and my words remain in you, ask whatever you wish and it will be given you. This is to my Father's glory, that you bear much fruit, showing yourselves to be my disciples. As the Father has loved you, so have I loved you. Now remain in my love. This is even in the middle of trial, temptations, and all those obstacles that we face. Remain in his love. If you obey my commands, you will remain in my love, just as I have obeyed my Father's commands and remain in his love. I have told you this so that my joy may be in you and that your joy may be complete. My command is this: love each other as I have loved you. So I read longer than I expected to, but I think it all connects. If you've seen some of my messages from before, I talk about staying or abiding, right? And abiding means standing in the Lord or staying in the Lord when things get really, really tough. And it doesn't just mean getting in his word, but it's thinking about him continually and trusting that he's going to come through and depending on God in every circumstance, situation. It's thanking him when things aren't going right, and it's thanking him for the little things that you did get right or the things that did go right, and it's thanking him for the big things that went right as well. So if you're a person who struggles with gratitude, that's a way to start. Is start with small, with the little things that just are daily things that sometimes we overlook, and then move on into the bigger things that have happened in your life that you can be thankful for, and then thank him for the things that are not going right, because guess what? All things work together for your good. Okay. So one key part here is he says that he told you all of this information, right? He's given you this good word so that his joy may be in you, so that your joy may be complete, right? So that means that there's a process, that there's a beginning and an end, because it says so that your joy may be complete, which means that if he's not in you, if his joy is not in you, then your joy is not going to be complete. Okay, it doesn't matter what your background is. If you don't have Jesus, your joy is not complete. I don't care how smiley faced you are, how many great emojis you put on Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter, or whatever. What you tell people at work or at church or your family members, and you put on the good smile show. Your joy will not be fully complete unless you have Jesus Christ in your heart. That is why it's so important to count it all joy and pure joy whenever you face trials of many kindness, because when you're choosing to abide in God and let God be the vine of everything that you're doing so that you can bear much fruit from him, one of those fruits that you're going to bear is joy. He will produce it in you as you continue to abide in him when you are weathering the storms, when the winds and the waves blow, toss to and fro in your mind. Sometimes we think wind and waves are things outside and external, but a lot of times it's internal. It's how you perceive the situation and yourself in the situation, and if you even consider God in the situation. So I want to encourage you today, as my buddy over here is starting to whine because I'm not giving him enough attention, but I just want to encourage you today to really count it all joy. And remember that part of it is Jesus's joy and the other part of it is your joy, but you need both in order to make that complete. So continue to abide in him. Don't give up in the storm. Don't give up when negativity hits or when multiple things strike against you. It's a setup for victory. You have already won. This is just a manifestation of you walking it out so that you have an amazing story to tell someone else. Remember, what you go through is not for you. It's for you to show compassion for someone later on who's going to go through the exact same thing that you're going through. That way, take your eyes off of yourself. Put your eyes on God. Ask him for help to help you get through your season, to get through your tough moments, to get through the emotional things that you have to bear, the grief, the suffering, the pain, the whatever it is that you're going through. Ask him for help for you to finish, and to finish strong, so that you can develop your perseverance, so that you can develop your hope, and therefore develop your character. I love you. I hope you have a great evening, and I hope this message really ministered to you. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.